Hi, this is Holly with Presence Point, and I'm still digging into the book of Jonah, that little book in the Old Testament. And as you know, God said, Jonah, go to Nineveh, prophesy for me that if these people don't repent, there'll be a problem. God says, Nineveh? Jonah says, Tarshish. But you know what's interesting is why did he run from the presence of the Lord? You don't know that all the way until chapter 4. And we learn in chapter 3 that the people repented. When he did go to Nineveh, the people repented. Even the king all the way down put on sackcloth and ashes and said, turn from your wicked ways, and they did. And God then relented from the punishment he was going to put on the people of Nineveh. And then you see verse 4, chapter 1. But it displeased Jonah exceedingly, and he was angry. In my own Bible journal, I wrote, what? Wow. And he prayed to the Lord and said, O Lord, is not this what I said when I was yet in my own country? That is why I made haste to flee to Tarshish, for I knew that you are a gracious God and merciful, slow to anger, and abounding in steadfast love, and relenting from disaster. Therefore now, O Lord, please take my life from me, for it's better for me to die than to live. What? The prophet does what God Finally, he does what God tells him to do. And the people repent. You'd think that's what he wanted. But he was angry. I don't know. There are people that kind of surmise as to why, but I don't know why. Did he hate the people of Tarshish? Did he just have a bad spot in his heart for them? I don't know. But what I do know is there are people like that in our lives as shepherd leaders. Yep. Hopefully it's not one of our kids, but it can be a teammate. Can be a peer in your work environment. It can be somebody in your congregation that you really don't want to succeed. Maybe you don't give them the best projects. Maybe you don't give them the best assignments because you don't really like them. So we know that our God is not a God of favoritism. We know that our God says how we're supposed to shepherd and lead, and it is to be fair to all, and like him, slow to anger, abounding in love, and relenting from disaster. So the question I have for you this week is, are there those irregular people in your life that just irritate you? People that you may be responsible for and report to you? People that maybe as a lateral shepherd leader are your peers? Or maybe even the one you report to that you need to shepherd up to? Are any of those people, folks in your life, that you would just as soon they not repent? That you would just as soon they not do well? Tough question, tough blog, I have to tell you, even to bring before you. But I pray that you take some time and seek God's answer to that question. You probably, in hearing this, already know who I'm talking about in your life, because I know who I'm talking about in my own. I pray that this few moments that Jonah, almost from the negative perspective, helps you live deeply into your calling this week. Thanks so much for joining us. Take care.